I have to do that because then I speed the camera up to 20 times the speed of light, and it makes it where I know when to edit it. It lets me know. It lets me know when to cut the editing. Let's see. You guys can probably see from there. If I need to get any closer, I can always hold it up just a little bit. But let me show you this real quick. What's going on is I've decided that I need to paint and draw more. I wasn't doing enough. I was sitting around. I was stagnating. I let the troubles of moving and all that other stuff 2016 eat away at me, and I stopped producing. And I got to where I didn't even want to open the book. I just didn't even want to do it. And what I find is that the more art I do, the more art I am inspired to do. The more I look at art, the more I deal with art, the more I'm inspired to do art. So the trick is just to pick up your damn pencils and do something, right? So I've begun pushing myself, and it started with nudes. It started with, you know what, I like looking at naked people. I'm going to draw naked people, and so I started downloading pictures of gingers, and I started figure sketching. And then I found a couple of figure sketching classes, figure sketching sessions that I could go to, and I started going to the live sessions and drawing them. Met a bunch of the models. We made some pretty good friends with the models. I'm friends with them on Facebook, and I'm even talking. Oh, the wife's home with the coffee. Even talking about setting up a figure drawing session over here in my part of the world, because where I go is an hour and a half away. So it's not really an hour and a half away. It's just you have to sit in traffic that long to get there in time for it to start. Coming home, it's only like 20-30 minutes to get home, but it's an hour and a half to get there. Anyway, so I'm talking about setting one up here locally. So it started with that, and then I got back into the habit of drawing the tubes. And I know I keep going on about this, but I just think it's so fabulous, where I just have these little toys, these little plastic toys, and I just randomly grab one out of the sack over here, set it up on my little stage, my little light stage that I made, so that I can make sure that I only have the shadows that I want. And maybe we'll talk about that sometime. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Anyway, set it up on my little stage, and then I draw those every morning. And it started with 10 1 minute nudes, 5 2-minute nudes, 2 5-minute nudes, 1 10-minute nude, 1 20-minute nude, and then a tube, a random object. And it went from there to now I'm doing a watercolor face every Wednesday night. I'm doing a little mini painting every Thursday night, and I'm painting in the book on Monday night if I can be here. I can't always be here. I'm a dad with a day job, so I can't always be here. But when I can be here, I paint in the book. But here's the thing: what do you paint? Oh my God, what in the world are we going to paint? Oh, man. And if you're having one of them really creative moments, you can sit down and you can make a list of all the things you think you might want to paint. You're driving down the road, you see something cool, take a picture of it. Then on those days when you are not inspired to draw or paint, just go to the next thing on the list. Just go to the next thing on the list. Or I've even been known to write them all down on little tabs of paper, put them in a sack, shake the sack up, and just randomly draw one out of the sack. But for the minis, if I'm inspired to paint something else, I'll paint whatever I want to paint. But for the minis, I have been painting sunsets. If I can't think of anything else, I've been painting sunsets. And so let me show you over here my sunsets. Pull up Google Chrome here, make sure I don't accidentally pull up any pornography. That would be, bad. Figure models, that's the word I meant. Don't want to accidentally pull up any figure models. So if you look across the top of my screen here, you can see all the things that I have saved that I want access to quickly. And one of the things I have on here is a sunset Google search, and so I can just click on that, and I have sunsets out the wazoo, and I can just scroll through here and pick the one I am inspired to paint. And whatever color reaches out to me, whatever landscape reaches out to me, whatever, and they have choices: nature, forest, and these are all still sunsets. The more choices you make, the more complex the thing gets. Mountains, So I can just go through here, and whatever I feel like painting, I can pick a type of sunset. You want a green sunset? There's green. Here's some green sunsets. The sunsets on Mars are blue. So here's some blue sunsets. And you can go through here different seasons. Winter, it's winter, so let's look at winter sunset. Just different seasons. So I mean, there's thousands of them, and I can go outside and I can occasionally take a photograph of a sunset. So that's what I decided to do for the minis. Just similarly on the faces, I do watercolor faces of my Facebook friends. I'll just go to my Facebook friends list, and I'll go to the next one on the list that I haven't painted, and go through their profiles. And I only pick their public profiles, and usually give them the option to shut it down before I do anything else. But most of them have me blocked for my political views anyway, so I don't really. but I'll pull them up on my tablet over here, and I'll have that in front of me, and then I'll sketch it and paint it. But tonight we're going to do a sunset. So, but the point of stories is by doing that, gives me that eliminates that decision making process. Grabbing a random toy out of the sack eliminates that decision making process. I don't have to sit here in the mornings and think, man, what am I going to paint? I have the figures for this month. For the month of February, I'm doing faces instead of figures. Bye, Anonymous. And so for the month of February, I'm doing faces instead of figures. And so I have it set to randomly do a random slideshow. Every 2 minutes it just rotates out, so I do my 2-minute warm-ups with faces, and then I draw, and I will still draw a face tonight because I'm playing with Ayala and her 29 faces. Anyway, again, the joy of it, all of those things lend themselves to taking the decision-making process out. So I cannot sit here and say, man, what am I going to paint? I don't know. Nobody wants to see that. Why would I paint that? Nobody wants to see that.